Okay, so metal.
Metal.
The show's about metal.
What is metal? We're going to spread the hidden value in music.
We're going to proselytize. We're going to get the word out there.
We are.
That's important.
Oh, teaching about metal gets me amped up.
Yeah, guys, we are live. Welcome to the first annual Heavy Metal Super Bowl. It's sponsored by the Great Metal Podcast and hosted by Shredmaster Scott, Just Pete, and the Metal Evangelist. Guys, we got a hell of a game today.
Boobs, Luke. Ooh.
Your boobs?
Ooh.
Oh, bounce!
Right there.
Your boobs can be
Bounce
the cheerleaders for the bands today.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Who would wanna
Yeah, it's-
perform? My titties were bouncing on the sideline. Man, that's motivation right there.
That's big motivation.
Shit.
Titty pom poms. Oh yeah, rah rah rah. Oh man,
So, Luke, give us a breakdown. This is going to be a crazy show. We got a crazy show here.
yeah. Well, first of all, it's really good to be back live. We had to take a hiatus there for a while. We moved around a bit, but we're going live again. We want to bring the content to you guys straight from our mouth, no censors, right into your eyes and ears.
Fresh.
So yeah, I mean, we figured
Years.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know how many people are into American football, but there's this game going on today, the Super Bowl. I probably will not not be watching.
Heavy metal Super Bowl.
It's a big deal. But yeah, what's more interesting, at least for me, is, these bands fighting it out on the 50-yard line. And that is what we're going to do today, because there's actually a lot of crossover between sport and, metal music, right? Any music, I guess.
And metal music in particular, because it's more athletic.
It is, that's a great point.
You got the galloping, you got,
Yeah.
blast beats like boxing.
It is
it's
true.
like a running back speed play.
Yeah.
If you are not in good physical shape, playing some of these metal songs would just not be possible.
Forget
Period.
about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
So yeah, I mean, today we've got we're expecting some Blitz Riffs, maybe a few number one chart topping stompers. We're
Hail
gonna
Marys?
get our.
Do we got any Hail Mary songs?
Oh, we might have a few Hail Marys in there. Not that any of these bands are going to need it because they're all top of the line. Primarily, we're looking at like the big brands today, right? Now, there's a few surprises in there. Some players that maybe nobody's heard of or haven't heard of in a while going to come out of nowhere and strut their stuff.
Megan Thee Stallion, just slip those on in there.
I don't know. They might not meet the head banging criteria.
It's true.
Sorry,
I don't think they're going to
Stallion,
cut it.
Maybe next year.
Yeah. If she can get her shit together and get on the metal page, maybe there's a spot for her.
You got to get your gallop chugging together, Megan.
Yeah.
If you can do that, then we'll think about it.
Only real contenders this year.
Fights.
That's right. So
Do we need that show you can sound effect? That's what
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we got to make our own sound effects on this show. It's
I guess
low budget.
it was good.
Yeah. Well, so we're kind of in pregame here at the moment. So just to give us some context here, looking at some of the stats, they like to look at stats in sports, I think. Stats are actually, they're really, really hard to find in music these days because, you got streaming and nobody's really buying albums anymore and all that kind of stuff. But there are some really interesting things happening. So we found some data here. So according to chart data, this is as of July 17th, 2021. So it's about halfway through 2021. And they looked at just total pure album sales. So that's like somebody buying a physical copy or an entire album streamed, but it's not like somebody buying an individual song. It's like the whole album.
Probably just boomers do that now, huh? I don't know what the actual demographics are, but
that would support this data because 9 out of the top 10, number 2 through 10, are all hard rock, heavy metal bands.
Yeah.
So the number 1 is BTS, the Korean, the K-pop band. And just Pete had some interesting info on why that could be.
Yes. Now, Shred, I think you may have shared the join link because I see that we have some people in the queue to be joining. But you can also watch this live on YouTube. But that's okay. I put the YouTube link just in the comments right now. If you joined and you're in the behind the scenes, that's cool too.
I'm gonna have to fix that here.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about BTS for a second while you're working on that.
Yeah.
The BTS. Okay, so I mean these stats that you got here, very interesting. I think they were album specific though, right? It said
pure album sales.
Pure album. Now, here's what I surmise. Most people are currently doing singles, which is a good strategy in this digital era for sure. So older bands have big albums that
is
are
it the
nice.
share? Just push share? I don't know
if
which
you
link
go,
to get.
Yeah. Well, in the
think you gave me
comments
it to
of
share.
that, no, that was for you to join, but I can give you one here. Let me email you one. Yeah, I screwed up in not giving you a thing. But anyways, the point of the matter is that I think in Korea they kind of promote album sales. And so I think that there's a good chance that the reason BTS is on there is they're current and they're in a country where they're like actively promoting album sales. So Shred, I just sent you that email.
Because they just dominated. They're above. Who's number 2? The Beatles.
They beat the Beatles. Now, and this is band total, so it's like all of their albums. And the Beatles have quite a few albums, right? They have like 20 some albums.
Yeah,
I think they have 69 albums, Luke.
Well, and 69. So it's like in terms of like all albums sold per group, it's BTS is number 1, Beatles is number 2, but then Metallica's number 3. And so when you're looking at the stats and it's like Billboard comes out with their top 200 of 2021 and there's not a single metal band in the top 200. Well, that's because everything's getting streamed, right? And people are buying places on the Billboard charts and all this kind of stuff. But when you look at like who's selling actual albums, 9 out of 10, it's heavy metal and hard rock, which is
I think there was a lot of album thinking there, where there's a lot of good songs on the album. It's it's not like building an album around a single. It's more like, and the Beatles too, especially in the later career, was like we're working with concept album type stuff. Like a lot of metal do, metal bands do.
Yeah, Who? Didn't they do a bunch of that stuff? They did like Tommy, and all these like rock operas.
Oh
things.
Tommy, man,
who's
Pinball
got time
Wizard.
For that now, who's got time? No one's going to sit down and chug through a full concept album.
We do need to like make time because that stuff is such high quality. It's like you can go to McDonald's and order a Big Mac, or you can like buy some meat and make a hamburger at home. And making that burger
so good when it hits my lips.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they're bad.
Pounder's delicious too. I ate both at the same time the other day, and then plus a chicken sandwich. So it's like a trifecta.
Well, you got to get that protein.
A little bit shitty afterwards, but
yeah. So I mean, there's a time and a place for it, but there's also a time and a place to like slow down, put on that progressive metal album, and make a hamburger. We can. It's okay to slow down in life every once in a while. We don't always have to be running in the red.
I forced myself to listen to a new Steve Vai single, and it was hard. But once I did it, I was really glad that I did it. Like I felt edified. I felt like the quality of my life was enriched. I mean, it was a really good song. I was like, Steve, it was really good. But I was, to like focus my attention. Oh, it was so hard. It was so difficult.
Okay.
That's just like
Yeah.
the Gen Z mindset. There's all of this interesting stuff to watch, and you have to really concentrate. It's like meditating when you listen to an album. That's what it's like.
Yeah, because certainly today it's like, hey, give me that hook, give me that quick hook, and then like move on to the next quick hook, and then the next quick hook. And so like listening, I think that's largely why people don't listen to more classical music, because it takes a lot of time and energy, focus, and investment to really get into it.
Dude, I'm gonna buy some tickets to the LA Phil. I'm gonna watch some Igor Stravinsky in May.
Nice.
And that's a cool way to do it, because then like you go to the show, you're in the experience and you're focused. I'll probably like bring the score and then follow along, which would be really nerdy, but I think it'd be fun.
Oh yeah.
So okay, how do we what's next, Luke? The kickoff?
Yeah, so we can kick off. I just want to throw one other thing out there before the game starts. So the probably one of the best metrics for seeing what's currently selling, what's currently popular, not overall, but just what the current snapshot is, just looking at the Amazon album sales ranking. And and a lot of people order shit off of Amazon. So and if you look at that, it's really interesting when you look at like the top 16, like the top 5 though. So this is current album sales in the heavy metal category. So Volbeat is number 1, Saxon is number 2, Ghost is number 3. I don't even know this 4th one. It's like looks like a black metal band, Venom Prison. Never even heard of them.
Well, you can tell by the font. It's definitely black metal. It's almost impossible to read.
Right. That's why. That's why.
Number 3 on Amazon is a black metal band in the metal genre, huh?
Number 4. Yeah, number 3 is Ghost.
4. Yeah, they're above AC/DC.
Yeah, AC/DC is number 7. And Tool is number 8. Well, and 6. I guess 6 and 8 are both Tool albums, 2 different albums.
I see Dream
and then
Theater's
5
on
is
here too.
Yeah, Dream Theater is number 13.
Their new album,
which that came out in like last year. So the fact that it's still at number 13 is, maybe that's impressive. I don't know.
It's maybe November-ish.
But anyway,
yeah.
So it's like when you look at like the big guys, the legacy guys, Metallica is always up at the top, just always, in terms of the most streamed, the most albums sold, blah, 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 blah. But when you look at any given current moment, you have these new guys that are coming out with a bang and a splash, which is great for the metal community.
Right.
So anyway, so let's do this thing. Let's get this game started. So the key to starting strong is that kickoff, right? Well, as it turns out, 2 of the biggest names in metal have a very similar kickoff to 2 of their most popular songs. So we're talking about Metallica's Seek and Destroy and Slayer's Raining Blood. Ooh. So let's check these out and see who has the better kickoff. So here we go. Here's Slayer, Raining Blood.
It's a good show opener too, right? It's a real kickoff.
Absolutely. I mean, it just so much energy, just gets you pumped, gets you ready for the game.
Gosh, baby.
Oh,
I have to say sorry to Kerry King, because the guitarist there, because I have just ruined so many of his songs. Raining Roses is the B-side I've done. Also, they have a song called South of Heaven. I did North of Hell. It's very tragic, but extremely optimistic, happy sounding.
Yeah.
Well, so Slayer
Carrie
versus who are we up against?
Metallica's Seek and Destroy. Let's check this out.
Tough competition.
Lars had to sit down after the intro.
It's almost like Lars spends more time standing up than fucking sitting down.
Yeah.
Damn it, Lars.
It's true.
I gotta say, Raining Blood versus Metallica here on Seek and Destroy for a kickoff. Raining Blood is so catchy.
You're going Raining Blood.
And energy driving. It's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, they're both good, but I'm going Raining Blood for the winner.
You
of
have
the
to be a
kickoff.
riff lord to make it in metal. Both of those
Yeah.
are riff lord riffs. Like it's got to be that catchy hook riff. Raining Blood is super like chromatic and dissonant.
Yeah.
And
That's
Seek and
what I was-
Destroy isn't it, it's kind of exotic or erotic, if you will. So yeah, they both have some nice spiciness. What do you think, Luke?
Well, I think, I think, we've said before, energy level, like decibel level and energy level are tied together, and speed. So I think, Raining Blood has that metal edge. It's got more oomph to it, I think.
Extremely fast song.
It really is. Now, and Seek and Destroy I almost feel like there's a little bit of like blues behind that initial little lick there. And yeah, but at the same time, James Hetfield is a great frontman. Like audience participation, he's like getting them into it. He's yelling,
Lars was like not
Lars was
playing
all over.
drums and just working it, just running around the stage, which, I don't know. Maybe that's the move now.
If you're watching live, throw your comment out there. Who won this kickoff?
Yeah.
That's what we want to know. We want to
Because
know
I
your
think
thoughts.
In terms of just like the music, I think Slayer has a better opening to the song. But I think in terms of like performance, I would go Metallica on that one.
Whew.
Yeah. Just in terms of performance.
Metallica, those guys, like when you watch them play, the energy that you feel, it's like level 666. It's so much juice that they put into things. I mean, and especially at their age now. They're all like 107, and they're still just like, man, just they really put it out there.
Metal
so
has no
important for a
age.
good show.
There was a rough period when James was like too heavy on the sauce that his like performance really suffered.
Oh, back in maybe like the load and reload days.
Yeah, I'm not sure what like a period of time was, but he was like looking rough, and it was a bad deal.
He was like he would go to Russia and he would like hunt bears, and then he would just like drink vodka all day. And there were some dark days there where he had to go to rehab a number of times. Can you imagine that? I don't know if he was with like Putin and stuff, and they would just like shoot bears. I don't know, because I know Putin likes to ride bears. Yeah,
right.
Classic.
Yeah. Bareback.
Bareback. There you go.
Yeah, bareback. Yeah. So anyway, let us know what you think. Who had the better, like who has the, and maybe it's like there's another contender out there that's got even better song opener, but those guys iconic, and they really knew how to like craft a song. So you have like this awesome kick off and then you go into it.
I think that's what you just said. It's the dynamic rise. It starts with just one guitar, and then it builds, like there's a second guitar harmony part. The band comes in, then the riff change. It's just the escalation of the song is done well.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, so here we go. Ball is in the air. It's flying through the sky, and it's headed toward whoever it goes to. I don't know. I'm not going to be good at the sports analogies today for sure. But we know that a good kickoff is only as good as the catch, right? You got to catch the ball. Actually, I don't think you actually do have to catch the ball, but you have to pick it up or something. Anyway, it's about catching the ball. You can't score until you catch the ball. So next up is the most catchy metal songs. And this is going to be a good one because we got Iron Maiden, Run to the Hills versus Megadeth's Peace Sells. So let's check out Iron Maiden first. Let's get that catchy gallop.
Riding through dust clouds and barren wastes, galloping hard on the plain, chasing the redskins back to their holes, fighting them at their own game. Murder for freedom, stab in the back, women and children are cowards and die. Run to hell! Oh yeah! Run to hell! Run for your lives!
Now, he can't quite, Bruce. Oh, no. Did we drop?
Oh, sorry. No, we both tried to remove the video at the same time, and then it cut over.
Sorry.
It was a disaster.
I saw Bruce actually galloping in his medieval garb there.
Oh, yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, now he couldn't quite hit the high notes in that performance, but that's okay. That's okay.
Bruce pulled like a Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer. When you sing that live, whoa, man, that's tough to get those. Those are up in the stratosphere. Those notes.
Yeah.
When you record, be careful about that. Like, don't put it,
it is true.
Limits of your capacity. Yeah.
But that song, like I remember playing it in Rock Band, and it was really hard to beat in Rock Band. And then it would be stuck in my head for like days and days and days. It's like, it is a really catchy song. But
dude, I run to the hills all the time, by the way. I'm up there in the hills and with Iron Maiden. That's my soundtrack. Run to the hills.
Those Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
The Hollywood Hills. Well, let's see if Dave Mustaine can overtake Run to the Hills with some Peace Sells.
What do you mean I hurt your feelings? I didn't know you had any feelings.
I love the emotionality.
Just not your kind. What do you mean I could be the president of the United States of America? Tell me something.
There's the Constitution.
Still we, the people, right?
Here we go.
If there's a new way,
Pre-chorus.
Oh, yeah.
first in line. But it better work this time. He sells, but who's buying? He sells, but who's buying? He sells, but who's buying? He sells, but who's buying?
Oh, I'm going Peace Sells on this. I think there's a lot of really catchy riffs in there. I love that little part. And then part we didn't hear, there's like these harmony parts after the first chorus that are so fun too. Dave's like vocal delivery is so weird, but that's the thing. Good. Like no one sounds like Dave,
I love that sort of. Yeah, it's almost
snarl.
like talking snarl. Quality is amazing. I also thought Peace Sells. To me, it's a little catchier. They both are catchy, sure, but I agree. That's the one I would
Okay, so 2 for Peace Sells, Luke.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. Like,
Shit.
Peace Sells to me is more. It's more like metal catchy. Like Run to the Hills again. It's like it's a little too poppy, right? And so, and Megadeth. I mean that. And part of it is just like his lines, his vocal delivery. What do you mean I don't believe in God? It's like, what do you mean? It's so catchy. Oh gosh. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I think old Dave Mustaine pulled it out there.
You know, Dave Mustaine and Hetfield both have a range that is a little bit more in the normal space, you know, for people. Like Bruce is like, whoa, he's like way up there. And sometimes I think that makes Megadeth and Metallica a little bit more relatable, you know, that they're not constantly like way up there, way down here. You know, they're just sort of in a standard range in terms of like the vocal.
Well, it is easier, I think, for the general person to sing along with.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to sing along to like, you know, Ronnie James Dio, it's really hard, you know? And so you tend not to sing along as much.
It makes it feel so natural, though.
You just sing along alone in your car.
Yeah. Right. Right. All right. So I think Dave Mustaine and Megadeth caught that. They had the best catch there. But you catch the ball and you can't just stand there. You got to motherfucking go. You got to be fast, right? You got to run. And so next up is like the fastest, man. Who are the fastest players in this space?
Oh,
and
jeez.
We have some fast ones. So we've got
epic length, right?
I think this is speed. Was this speed? You can't get the catch. Oh no, you're right. You're right.
These guys are epic length.
But you got to start running for a long time. Doesn't matter how fast you are at this point. You got to like be able to get to the end zone.
This is like you catch the ball, but you run the whole length of the field and touchdown.
That's exactly. Yep. So what we're looking at is bands that have the ability to play a single song for a very long time. Now, there are far longer songs than these, but we just went for like 20-plus minute epics, right? So
just a modest 20-minute epic. Yeah.
Well, so we've got Dream Theater's 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, which is actually like 42 minutes. And then we've got up against...
I thought 6 Degrees was like 40 minutes or something.
Yeah, it's like 42 minutes or something.
I think, did you say 22? What? Maybe I heard it.
Well, no, 42. Symphony X's is like 24, the Odyssey.
Yeah.
So the category was just
Change of Seasons is probably more well known, and that's like about what, 23? Yeah, 23, 24, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Well, that might be more well known. It's a lot older. But anyway, let's check out Dream Theater, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, and see if they have the stamina over Symphony X's The Odyssey.
Oh, orchestra.
Yes.
They brought in some extra players.
This was from Score, maybe? What was this? Or wait. No.
Good question.
This does look like Score, actually.
We're just going to skip around a little bit on this video because 42 minutes is tough to compress.
Okay, you're playing the full 42, yeah. MP on backup vocals.
Just cover a lot of ground in an epic like this.
Wow. Oh, he's got the double neck.
Gotta have the right equipment to go along.
This is a great song.
The tuxedo t-shirt. Oh,
Amazing.
it's pretty good. Pretty good. So I don't know.
I just saw Dream Theater play last week, and there was no amplifiers on stage. There was like nothing. It was just the drum kit, no bass gear. They're going for like the scaled back thing. Yeah, I kind of miss seeing, because Petrucci would like put the album cover art, on his speaker grill cabinets.
Yeah,
and it was just like fun stuff like that. But they're scaling down maybe just for a lot of reasons, right? They haven't running lower budgets, etc.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's an epic track right there. But Solitary Shell, that's not part of 6 Degrees, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's one of the parts. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's like 7 or 8
crazy
sections. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Here's Symphony X, The Odyssey. Let's see if Michael Romeo and Sir Russell Allen can take down the Dream Theater big boys.
Okay, we'll see.
My journey has begun. When our eyes meet once more, there will be peace.
I love the unison there with the bass and guitar doing the same thing.
When we ride into the raging fury, setting our course by the moon and sun, we forge ahead, seeking glory. This is the end of my odyssey.
Okay. Yeah,
very
I would go with
difficult.
Dream Theater on this. I do like the Odyssey, but I think, the 6 Degrees is a little bit more well put together. Maybe a lot more well put together. I have some really favorite long Symphony X songs, but the Odyssey is a pretty disjointed piece the way it's put together. What are their other long tracks? They have like Divine Wings of Tragedy. I think that's a better one.
I'm not
there's some other long
familiar.
ones, but
I'm not nearly as familiar with them.
yeah,
With
that
their
was
entire
That was
catalog.
off Divine Wings, which was like '96. That's an older one. But yeah, DT on this one, they got it.
I think, you gotta give anybody credit that's playing a 20-minute song. Flip Wafer here says that Opeth's Black Rose Immortal is a notable mention.
How long
Opeth,
is that a long one?
they have some pretty epic length tracks as well.
Yeah, Blackwater Park, great. But I think that's like 13 minutes. That is
Yeah,
long. But
something
Yeah, where do we draw the line here? On like
well, we were
the
at 20 plus minutes.
20 plus? Oh, yeah, okay. So that might not
Yeah.
make it.
Which there are quite. There are a handful that are over an hour long. But yeah, I agree. I think Dream Theater. They have a lot. They have numerous songs that are over 20 minutes long.
That's a whole experience. You got to hit people with the short form content now too. I definitely wouldn't recommend people just start writing, 69-minute epics. That's, people aren't going to be able to power through that.
No, it's a special thing for sure.
It is a special thing though. It's an experience. So yeah, we should maybe do that one time and create like a whole thing. We'll drink shots and, get play in the dark.
Well, that's the thing. It's like listening to an entire album, only it's one structural piece.
Yeah.
And so and what's typically really powerful about that is if they're good at writing songs, there's these thematic continuities that happen throughout the entire thing. So it's always like taking you out and bringing you back.
That's right. That has to be done really well. That's what frustrates me a little bit about the Odyssey is it's like, here's an idea. Here's another idea. Oh, check it out. Yet another idea. And MJR didn't do enough of like thematic continuity, like building themes. He did some of that, but it was like more just sort of like displaying his compositional virtuosity, which is very impressive if you're watching this, MJR. but yeah, for the average listener, bring it back home more. That's what we need.
Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like maybe Dream Theater ran that thing right into the end zone there.
That's a score. Touchdown.
So now here's the other thing. Okay, now nobody was really the other teams were like, I don't know, not paying attention or something, and Dream Theater just got through. They just ran for a really long time. And they got
run. Okay.
But typically, what you need to do is when you catch that ball, you have to be fast because they're going to be on you. The other guys are going to be on top of you. And so now we're going to look at the dudes that can get that ball and they can blaze down that field in record time. So we're looking at Meshuggah's song War versus Flesh God Apocalypse's The Violator. So here is Meshuggah's War.
Fine line between fast and super fast.
Storm of metal chaos.
Some of those drum fills, it's like the speed at just the regular drum beat is so fast. Like the fill is like what's even happening?
Yeah,
it's
it almost sounds programmed, like it's mechanical or computer generated.
It does. So
that is nuts. I mean that's off like their Rare Tracks album or something, which, that's a fairly unknown song. Bleed is their most well-known fast song. That's like 230 beats per minute, and they're doing like chugs, which is like 16th note sort of thing. Which, for those of you who use the metronome, that's fast.
That's
wow.
Fast. That's freaking fast. Well, so here, this is a relatively unknown band. Oh, they're actually pretty popular, but maybe not in the Metallica circles, right? But Flesh God Apocalypse, they're coming out of nowhere here, coming out of left field. These guys are motherfucking fast too. And of course, when you talk about speed, you're always talking about like these tech death metal bands.
Every time.
Nobody can do it better. So anyway, this is like I think they're from Italy or France, maybe. But anyway, they're a symphonic tech death metal band. So let's see if Flesh God Apocalypse can overtake Meshuggah.
Dude, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I got to go with Flesh God instantly on that. Just the whole presentation, it, like the piano in the background, the orchestral elements. Well, just the insane metal chaos is happening at 666 beats per minute.
Yeah,
that's good because there's actual like harmony too. You know, it's like a real song.
No, it's true.
Happening there.
That actually has an entire like symphonic intro. And so like that. I think they call themselves like symphonic death metal, but they're definitely in like the tech death, genre. And I've only heard a limited amount of these guys. I've really liked what I've heard from them.
Yeah,
because of what you're saying.
More of them.
Yeah. The dynamic of some of the different instruments they use, and just they push everything so far to the limit. Like his like quarter note snares were like, it was like a drum roll, but it was like the quarter note snare.
Yeah, with just one hand.
It was wild, and I to me it also stood out, and it looks like to our listeners, flip wafer or wafer.
Flesh God, 100%.
100%. I think we're all on the same page here. Those guys killed it.
I love how they're like writing the music out while smoking a stogie.
Yeah.
What chord should we play here? As long as it's fast. It doesn't matter.
It's gotta be fast. That is true. Yeah, no, that's really something else. But I mean, they're at that speed, they're gonna catch the ball at like their end zone and get to the other end zone in like I don't know 1 second. Yeah.
Negative 69 seconds, you're there. Score.
Yeah. They scored before they even caught the ball. That's how fast they were. So I think Flesh God takes the cake on speed. But now here's the thing. Ultimately, it doesn't 100% matter how fast you are. Right? We've talked about this a lot in the past. Like you can be really fast and still, sound like shit. And that's
Luke.
Being fast for the sake of being fast, is not the goal.
Speed is the number one thing that gets you chicks. Everyone knows that. The faster you play, the more chicks you get.
Well, that could be. But eventually, even if you're fast, somebody's going to be able to like punch you in the face through pure brute force, right? So we're going for the...
If you play fast, just like these guys did, like put a couple chords and some pleasing harmonies behind it, so you're actually going somewhere. You're making some music. That's the
absolutely.
You could play fast. It's fine. You can do that, but just make it coherent. Because people aren't impressed just by the athleticism alone. That's for sports, not just not for music.
It's like literally that is sports. Yes. Well, so the next move here is they're trying to the brute force guys are trying to take out the speedy guys. So they're going to punch them as hard as they can in the face with the most brutal riff they can come up with. So we've got Cannibal Corpse.
Oh, yes.
And the song.
Yes.
And the song Inhumane Harvest up against Behemoths of Fire and the Void. So here is
good. This is going to be good.
Cannibal Corpse. Yeah.
Twisted criminal on the ground, stuck against another victim for complete control. Reaping vital body parts, surgical precision taken on the movie soul. Stars fly level right down the chest, removal of the organs, cut the arteries and veins. Everything must go before the victim dies, when the body to dispose.
Ooh,
dude, that is brutal. Brutal riff.
Would you part with if you had to have something harvested inhumanely from your body? Which organ first? You go like
Kidney, man.
kidneys. Yeah, the kidney.
Totally take a kidney because you can keep
I
going
would do
and
a
listen to
little
more
chunk
metal.
of my liver, perhaps, just a little bit.
Oh, well, a chunk of
just-
it
Oh,
would be
yeah.
fine, but not the whole thing, right?
Right.
You need that thing.
If it was going to Corpse Grinder, to expand his neck girth, then I would be for that. But yeah, for anybody else, I'd be highly skeptical. You can't have my liver.
Yeah,
Not
well,
anybody can have my liver.
One of the things that's so brutal about that riff is it sounds like it's twisting and turning. It's like,
Yeah.
it sounds like,
Right.
this twist. And he's talking about, twisting and turning.
Well, let's hear the
So-
competition. Let's hear the competition because there's talk in the comments that maybe the video is more brutal than the riff. So
That's true. Okay, so here's Behemoth, and Of Fire and the Void.
Don't do it, bitch.
Well, she's gonna do it.
okay, that made me feel something from like the first chord. When you talk about brutal,
Yeah,
I think you want the riff to make you feel.
That's true. Well,
I'm going with
in
Behemoth
ter-
on that for sure.
With the thing with the Behemoth, like when you get into black metal, you get those evil sounds, right? Cannibal Corpse was like, it was this punch in the face. It was twisting, turning. Behemoth is more of this like snaking, evil, possessing you type of a thing.
Oh yeah.
So I don't
Right.
know. I think Cannibal Corpse might have been a little bit more brutal to me. Oh, there's a
what are
comment.
we
Flip offer. I says the video is more brutal than the riffs, actually,
That's
which is
what I
actually
was
true.
referencing.
I had to put in my age just to watch the video on YouTube. It was like age
Okay. Well, and Keith says he loves Cannibal Corpse, but Behemoth takes it. I think the emotionality of the Behemoth, right, the Behemoth, it's like I don't know why I was saying that weird sometimes when you try to talk and click links or comments but Behemoth, it's just like Behemoth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Behemoth. I like that evil black metal energy. Who's that band we're listening to? We did a reaction video to them with that awesome video they had. Those guys. Oh crap!
We've done a lot.
Cradle of
We've
Filth.
done a lot.
Cradle of Filth.
Oh yeah,
And that kind of shit, man. I'm so into that. Like that, just evil vibes. And
yeah.
slow it down a little bit. The faster you play, the harder it is to absorb the musical data, right? So Behemoth started this song a little bit slower. They had some pedal tones or recurring pitches, let you know, boom, this is where we're at. And that was pretty evil. Like,
I actually agree with you. My personal opinion is I think the Corpse Grinder one, or the Corpse Grinder, the Cannibal Corpse one, to me is a little bit more brutal. I would much rather listen to the Behemoth one though.
yeah.
Of Fire in the Void is
What were we
to me
judging
is
this
a
on?
much
Most
brutality.
brutal.
Yeah, most
Okay.
brutal.
Which is
Okay.
the most brutal.
Yeah.
Maybe the Corpse from that standpoint, but I would rather listen to the Behemoth.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the
Same
the
here.
Behemoth is brutal because you feel
Yeah.
brutal.
It's-
Right? That's what I was
Black
saying.
metal is like it's almost like pop music in the sense that they really key in on emotionality.
Yes.
The point is to really get you to just bleed emotional feelings and just go deep into
Yes.
that. I mean, they're really dialed into that aspect of music, which for metalheads, that's a good lesson. Don't just focus on pure speed and athleticism. Make the people feel something.
Well, that's right. That's right. And black metal, doom metal, they're so good at exploring, the hurt, right?
Yeah.
Not just the anger. And okay. Well, I think it sounds like maybe, I don't know. You guys let us know. Which one was more brutal? Regardless of which one you listen to more, I think we'd all listen to Behemoth more. But
yeah,
I think
I see. It could be Corpse if you're just going on pure brutality. I see the point there.
Yeah.
So what's up next?
This next one's going to be good. This is going to be real.
Yeah.
Okay, so here you go. So how do you avoid the brutal blast blitz of a massive riff? Well, you gotta get the sparkle, the tricks in there, right? Well, the tricks in music oftentimes it's like the solo, right? Yeah. So head-to-head battle. What's that?
I said, are we talking about the MVP here?
This might be the MVP award. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone with that little extra special thing they're bringing to the play.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
The
could be like the wide receiver. Because he takes it home. And these guys we're about to mention are lead guitar players. So they're like handling the ball / handling the licks. I don't know what the analogy is here. I'm just reaching, to be honest.
Yeah, we're doing what we can.
It's hard to make these fucking metaphors work.
Go for it. It's all right. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about?
So we've got probably two of the most iconic solos in the entire metal world. We've got Randy Rhoads' Crazy Train solo
Lord Rhoads.
Versus
going up against Marty Friedman's Tornado of Souls. So let's check out Randy Rhoads. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I'm sticking with my versus sound effect. So you think it's not going to come every time, and you try to just roll into the next one, but I throw it in there.
This is one of the most ultimate showdowns ever in terms of greatest guitar solos. I mean, what's more epic than this? So
let's check it out.
And it's worthwhile to note that that's actually Brad Gillis on guitar, not Randy Rhoads. That was right after Randy died, actually, in a plane crash. So they had to have someone to replace him. And I was actually on tour with Sammy Hagar a couple years ago, and Brad Gillis was opening up for Sammy. So I got a chance to hang with him. He was showing me his licks backstage. Dude's an incredible player. Shout out to Brad Gillis.
Who does he play with now? He's doing his own thing?
What is his band? It's something everybody knows. And I'm not sure if he's still with them or not. But
was that solo originally written by Randy Rhoads though?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, it was originally Randy Rhoads, but yeah, I mean because I know
Night Rangers is and they're like hit song, which everybody knows. What is their hit song? Let's see.
It's not the sail away song or whatever.
Sail Away.
Not Sail Away.
It's a song that we would all instantly recognize when we hear it. Man, what is the Night Ranger hit?
Okay,
they're like one of those kind of one-hit wonder bands. Anyway,
cue up the competition here for MVP.
Yeah, so here's Marty Friedman with Megadeth on Tornado of Souls. Let's check this out.
There's the money shot.
It's cleaning up with those sweeps.
So that's actually Chris Broderick playing that, not Marty Friedman.
Shit, man.
Because, Megadeth has had a number of guitar players. That's it. In fact, Dave Mustaine has a revolving door for all the band members in Megadeth. He's the only one that stays true at this point. So, But Chris is, it goes Marty in terms of the best Megadeth guitarist ever. Marty's number one, then Kiko, and then whatever from there. It's like Chris Poland, Chris Broderick. There's a bunch of but Marty's the most loved of all the Megadeth guitarists.
Oh yes.
So did Marty write that solo?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. At least I got the names of the solo writers right.
And everyone has to play that solo note for note. If you don't play the Tornado of Souls solo note for note, then you're like castrated and cast into the out world, into just purgatory. You're done.
Well, so this will be really interesting. So in terms of like, what is the flashier solo shred? What would you say? Like, which one is more?
I think Flip Wafer said it. You made this one really hard. That's super hard because I'm very dedicated to Lord Rhodes, R.I.P. But then, Marty Friedman is a boss too. And both of those solos are really epic solos. If you're going for like the harder solo to play would definitely be Tornado of Souls. So if you're looking for more technical, flashy, difficult, then it would be Tornado of Souls.
Yeah. Where I land, I agree. It is very difficult. I was like thinking classic. Oh man. I mean, Crazy Train is just a classic solo. It's so good. But I'm also like, I made a joke there that he was cleaning it up with the sweeps on Tornado of Solo. But Souls, I do like sweep picking a lot, and there's just something so satisfying about it, and musical about it that really like speaks to you.
Marty Friedman, his phrasing, the way that he plays things, the techniques that he uses, it's so different, and it's almost like Dave Mustaine's vocals. You're like, what is that?
Right.
Plus, he's just a cool guy. He lives in Japan. Everybody likes Japan. Yeah.
I like what he's doing now. I mean, if you follow him online, he's doing lots of cool stuff. We do have one vote here. Esmo voted Tornado of Souls.
Okay.
I mean, it's difficult.
I think it's pretty much assumed now that Tornado of Souls is like the greatest metal guitar solo. I don't think that's disputed that much. Every time I do a video on that, it's like that's the general consensus, it seems.
Yeah, I think the big thing that Crazy Train has going for it is you could just play that solo for anybody and they'd be like, oh, that's the Crazy Train solo. If you played the Tornado of Souls solo for just a random person on the street, they'd be like, I don't know what that. But if you you just said it, Shred is like frickin' Friedman goes through 15 different, guitar techniques in one solo. He's doing one-handed tapping, he's doing two-handed tapping, he's sweep picking. He's like doing all of this stuff where, the Crazy Train is just a little more straightforward.
Yeah, and the thing about the Friedman solo and Tornado of Souls is that he's really closely following the harmony of the chords in the background. And that's something that is like a really advanced sort of classical approach almost. With Crazy Train, it's not so much a harmonic solo. He's just sort of like, here's a cool lick, here's another cool lick, But for Marty, it's like, oh, there's a G major happening in the background right now, so I'm going to do that in my arpeggios. Or there's an E minor right now, so I'm going to outline the notes in E minor, E, G, and B. He's really closely adhering to what Dave is playing in the rhythm guitar. part. And rumor has it that when Marty recorded that, Dave was like blown away. He like got up and shook his hand. He was like, "That's it. That's the best thing anyone's ever done." And
That's the greatest thing that's ever happened.
yeah,
And Dave Mustaine got it.
Yeah,
Well,
it's hard to impress Dave Mustaine. Let's be honest. I mean, he's always kicking people out of the band. You know? The only person that's been in the band for their entire lifespan of Megadeth is Dave Mustaine. He's kicked everyone else out like numerous times. Like the bass player that he's playing with now used to play with Megadeth a while ago, and then Dave was like, "You're done." Now Dave's like, "You're back." David Ellefson, "You're done."
Yeah,
because him and Dave were in the band for the entire span until just a couple years ago when he kicked Ellefson out. So, damn it, Dave, stop kicking people out. That's my only point.
Well, lead us home here, the metal quarterback. Where are we going with this game?
Well, so that's the thing. We've had all kinds of great stuff. We had some good kickoffs. We've had some amazing catches, some super fast runs, some sparkly jazz going on with the solos. And but it's time to really, acknowledge the most important thing, and that is teamwork. Right?
We just talked about solos.
We just talked about solos. But maybe it's teamwork. Well, there's no question that it's hard for one person to win a football game against 11 people on the other team. You need other interaction, right? So we've got what bands have some of the best interaction going on, and musically and all this kind of thing. So we got two bands up here. We've got Opeth with their song Lotus Eater, and then of course versus probably the most iconic band in terms of like instrumentation and this kind of stuff, and that's Dream Theater's Dance of Eternity. But let's see. Let's do Dance of Eternity first. Here is Dream Theater's Dance of Eternity, and then we'll see if Opeth's Lotus Eater can defeat them in teamwork. Literally, even the drums are playing unison lines.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being like the orchestral players? You get like the sheet music, and it's like 666 over 69 time. What do I do with that?
Yeah, what do I do? Well, so I mean, just like the dynamic of every instrument, either doing all the same thing or like all doing something different. Really, really cool. But let's see what Opeth has to offer here, because Opeth are no slouches. So here comes Lotus Eater.
Ooh, that was a spooky, evil groove. the end there.
Yeah, I think both of those guys, if you think of both of those song examples, they work together to create like an incredibly unique sound. They're both like Dream Theater had more like almost like I would say teamwork and like the syncopation and like connections between the instruments, whereas like Opeth was teamwork in the sense of like everyone was doing something different that created this wildly unique sound.
Yeah.
Good vibes. Dream Theater isn't always about just the vibes.
Right.
a lot of notes. Oh man, that's tough. That particular section though in Dance of Eternity is really lit. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the DT on that.
Yeah.
Little ragtime bar piano.
Yeah.
thing that Jordan Rudess does. It's like, where did that come from? And it's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, so I think ultimately, you know, what kills me is when like you have a bass player and the bass player literally just sits there and plays the tonic note in every song. I'm like, why do you guys even have a bass player? I mean, that's just like cruel, right? Even though sometimes that is the most powerful bass line you can play is just hitting that tonic note while everything else is happening. But I love it when, and I've never, I think I can say this. I have never heard a drummer as expressive as Mike Portnoy and Mangini in terms of they do, like, they're not just holding a beat, right? They're using their drum kit to make music. And it's weird. You don't hear that in almost any band, including a lot of metal bands. It's literally the drummer's just there to keep a beat. And so just like total team dynamic, Dream Theater to me just blows my mind every time I hear them.
I agree. And this is hard for me. I do like Opeth a lot, so it's like I think what they're doing is cool. But I do think from the overall dynamic, I would go with Dream Theater on this too. And Dance of Eternity, like Shred said, and that section, that's just a really special song.
Yeah,
you
picked the best part of the song, Luke.
Yeah. It is hard to write a long instrumental or instrumental section that people like don't get lost or bored with, and they kind of just killed it. So
yeah.
Got one more support for Dream Theater. Flip Whopper.
Flip Whopper. Yeah. Oh yes. Well, sounds like we're all on the same page. So that was one hell of a game. I don't even know who won, but it was fantastic to watch.
Sometimes the music isn't all about winning. It's just about enjoying the ride.
Yeah,
that's right.
Actually a good point, isn't it? That's what we're always trying to do, though. It's like, my band's better than your band. We're like trying to, in metal, a lot of times, we're like, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily about that, right? It's like...
No, that's what I love.
I mean,
metal.
like if we could get metalheads to think more strategically, like Metallica, think more about business, like the pop bands do, then we could actually stop worrying about selling out and actually sell more records to spread metal. Then more people would become aware of it. Maybe we could get it into popular culture more. Metallica's been able to do that to an extent.
Yeah, in terms of marketing, I agree with you. But don't water the music itself down just to make it more accessible. I draw a line in the sand there.
That's where you got to get strategic, because in my opinion, bands like Van Halen have a tremendous amount of musical integrity, but they also appeal to a large audience. So I think you can do both. And Metallica is another example of that. They've got some complex stuff. But
I'm just saying,
really
like,
focus on just resonating with human experience, and things that everybody can relate to. Nothing else matters. Recently hit 1 billion views. Obviously, they struck a chord there.
Right, but it's like Flesh God Apocalypse is never going to be mainstream. But I like what they do. So it's like I don't want them to try to be more like Metallica. I want Flesh God to be Flesh God. right? And
it's the teamwork. It's the teamwork. We need Metallica to bring people to metal and then explore the space.
That's a great. There you go. Metal is a giant tent, man, and there's so much diversity in metal. It's unbelievable. Far more diverse than any other genre of music, by orders of magnitude.
So we're all winning here by celebrating metal. That's the message.
That's right.
Who won? Metal won. That's who.
That's right. Metal. That's what we should have done. Like metal against like pop.
Maybe
and then
next
we would
year.
have just had metal just slaughter pop in every category.
but that's not what's happening, of course, in terms of sales and notoriety. So I'm saying, like, how can us metalheads level up and get more strategic on marketing, business, so that we can actually break more into the mainstream. That's what I'm interested in, because I see a lot of really talented metalhead guys that just don't get any traction, views, whatever on social media, because they're just not aware of all these other elements at play. Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, they got a whole team of marketers, working for them, and even the girls themselves understand business to an extent. They know that when they go on a show, they've got to display their sexuality in a certain way and whatever. It's a business. They get that. And a lot of metalheads don't get that.
Yeah,
so
well,
let's level up in that category, boys.
Metal, like punk, has always had this element of counterculturalism to it. And the problem with being countercultural is that you're not mainstream. That's the point.
But now in the social media world, where everybody has their own channel now, and things are different now. I mean, you can everybody's splintered off into these subcategories. That's why the Grammys and the Emmys and whatever, they're losing all this market share, because everyone's on their phones watching their own channel now. They don't give a fuck about the mainstream stuff. So, and Minaj and Miss B, all these other artists, they're going to start getting smaller too, inevitably. Because people have choice now about what they watch, what they consume. And that's going to change the game big time.
Speaking of the game, Shred just wrapped it up for us.
Yep.
Damn.
I just wrapped it up, bro.
Wrapped it up. So, we're running a little long here, but it was our first live stream back in 7 or 8 months. So happy to be back with you guys. Thanks for everybody joining. Flip Waffle and Esmo and Constance Frank, Keith, all of you guys. Good to have you on here. And we're going to start doing it regularly again. So we will explore new boundaries with you guys soon. So until then, this, the world ends with you. So keep it metal.